What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Zachary, Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu, what's up, man? How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good,
Got a
man. I'm
nice little
good.
break this weekend?
Yeah, I feel a little rested up after the bye week. It was actually
Mm-hmm.
last week was busier, I think, than most bye weeks, just because there's so much to talk about after the Penn State game. But
Yeah.
yeah, how about you?
Yeah, it was I had member guest at my country club
How'd that go?
and we won our flight.
There you go.
So,
There you
golf
go.
is
That's
paying
always
off.
fun. You still
It
playing
was nice.
well?
Yeah, I shot a 38 on 9.
There you go.
So it was stroke play, 5
Uh-huh.
rounds of 9, and I got 38 on 1, and it kind of put us ahead for out the
There you
gate,
go.
so it was perfect.
Yeah, that's nice. 38, that's a good
Yeah.
score. All
Mm-hmm.
right, well, we've got a lot to talk about as we lead up to another top 10 showdown for the Ducks, this time at Autzen Stadium against the Indiana Hoosiers. Before that, though, I think that we might need to discuss what took place this past weekend. Um, it was a bye week for the Ducks, but I will just ask this. What the hell happened with Penn State? Did you get to watch any of that game?
I watched a little bit of it because I was obviously golfing and
Uh-huh.
just it was a whole weekend. So I was kind of tied up with all the theatrics of that. But yeah, what the heck, man? Um, Penn State, they aren't who we thought they were, and
S-
they aren't who they thought they were. And I think
Yeah.
it all streams from the fact that we went into Happy Valley and left it Sad Valley, and they didn't know how to bounce back.
I think that's very fair. So if you're listening, you don't know exactly what we're talking about. Penn State lost to UCLA, 42
Yeah,
to 37.
there you go.
That UCLA team that was 0-4 going to that game, and
Hmm.
arguably one of the worst Power Four teams in the nation. I was dumbfounded when I was out, hanging out with friends, not really watching college football intently. But when I turned on, or when I looked at my ESPN app and saw that score at halftime, I was like, wait, what? This
Yeah,
UCLA team? So the loss, it
yeah,
has a transitive effect on Oregon now because, nationally at least, people are saying, or at least, I know that's a straw man, people are saying, but a lot of people seem to think that Oregon's win against Penn State in the whiteout is not as impressive because if Penn State turns around and loses to UCLA, that's,
which
you
is
can
fair to
definitely make that
say.
argument. Yeah.
It's fair to say it's not out of context at all. I would say the only fight back that I have there is that it does mean something, and it
Mhm.
means more than a lot of a lot of the top 10 teams, um, you know, ranked opponents, and whatnot, like Indiana beating Illinois. I think our win over Penn State is worth more than a win over Illinois. And you talk about the environment in which the Oregon Ducks had to go play in.
Mhm.
A lot of teams can't go in there and run that type of game plan and come out victorious. We basically went in with a prison mindset, a prison mindset, and a hard hat and some working boots and a shovel, and basically was just digging a grave for Penn State.
So, which do you believe? Oregon beat a Penn State team that is bad, actually, or Oregon's win in the whiteout was so deflating for the Nittany Lions that they actually struggled to bounce back and focus on the next week?
I think we beat a good team. I think we beat a better team that was confident, and then UCLA beat a team that wasn't confident. That's how I would put it. You know, because there was no reason for Penn State to not believe in themselves when we played them, right? They had all the confidence in the world. They had all the reasons to want to come and beat us, which was last year we beat them in a hard fought battle, uh, and we just demolished them. We crushed them. Like the point spread and all that doesn't necessarily say
Despite
it,
the final score,
but
yeah.
if you watched that game, we basically walked the dog. Okay,
Yeah.
and we had our own tempo to walking the dog, which was, hey, we're gonna go over here, you come over here, right? And then
Mhm.
eventually we let them play outside for a little bit, and then to end the end result was, nah, it's time to go in the house.
Yeah,
So
I think that's fair. For 3.5 quarters, I would say Oregon was the dominant team in that game against Penn State. They let 'em back in the end. There's, Penn
yeah, we
credit
let
to Penn
them.
State. They had a great comeback. They fought
Yeah,
hard for that
we
game,
let
but,
them go outside to play in the
yeah.
backyard.
I think ultimately, though, I do think that that loss was I mean, it's tough. I mean, you went into that game as a Penn State fan, as a Penn State player, as Coach Franklin saying, "We have to win this game." When
Yeah,
you lose in double overtime, that is deflating, and so it doesn't surprise me that they went on the road to UCLA in an empty Rose Bowl. I mean, there was nobody there, as there are for any game at the Rose Bowl for UCLA, and they struggled to play well. They didn't bring their own juice, as Dan Lanning always says about games in that type of environment, and they got upset. Credit to UCLA, they played well, they beat them.
yeah.
I can't believe that.
And only teams that are like, you have to have the right mindset when you are a good team going on the road, right? You have to be prepared mentally, obviously physically. You have to have the guys that are talented, and you have to have the right game plan. And credit to UCLA, they had a great game plan. They called a good game, and when you do have teams that switch up coaching staff mid-season, it is fair to say that Penn State might not have known what to expect in a lot of
Yeah,
aspects, right? So again, Penn State's not a terrible team. They just aren't who they thought they were.
yeah. It's
Period.
just it's kinda tough that Oregon gets this biggest win in Dan Lanning's career, massive win for this season, and then a week later, it's like, "Oh, that may not have been as good
You
as
know
we
what I
thought."
equate
That's
it
not a
to?
top 25 team anymore.
I equate this to when we beat Michigan, right?
Mhm.
A long time ago, like when my I'm not saying a long time
Back
ago.
in what, '07? That was a
Oh
long time
seven,
ago, Stu.
yeah, it was.
That was almost
Oh,
20 years ago.
in '07, we beat Michigan in the big house, after they lost to App State,
Mhm.
and we knew they were wounded. We came in there and we did not care. We drug them through the mud. In
Yeah.
the words of Kenyon Barner, we made a mud puddle at them, right? Um, but but good teams don't flinch. Good teams don't hesitate.
Mhm.
Good teams don't care about what you're going through. And I'm pretty sure Dan Lanning is preaching that message to his team. Penn State, we beat a good team.
Mhm.
And whoever we play next, we just got to beat them, and so on
Well,
and so forth. But what it does do now is for Carolina, or for the Oregon Ducks, it we don't really have we don't have any more ranked teams that we're going to be playing outside of Indiana.
maybe USC or Washington later in the year, but probably not.
No, no.
And you
UW's not good.
obviously you don't think Indiana's very good either, so
I don't
we'll
think
get
they're
to
that
that
good.
later.
Well, yeah, we have some catching up to do about that. But
Oh, okay. I'm
yeah,
intrigued.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna get to is that just I mean, Dan Lanning's message for his team this year has been double down, like, kinda prove that you were good last year, prove yourself from last year.
Hmm.
That, I think, means so much now in this week because, like, you proved that you were really good against Penn State. While the outside world may not think that win is as good as it was in the time because of what Penn State's done since, prove it. Double down
Hmm.
this week in another top 10 showdown against Indiana. I think this game just became even more important than it already was for the Ducks
Yeah,
because people don't think you're that good because they don't think Penn State's good anymore.
I think this
Indiana,
is
by all means, is a good team, we think. Um, Prove it.
yeah, prove it. I think this to me is right in line with our Ohio State game last year, as
Mm,
far as the moment, the opportunity, um, and what you're going to showcase. Um, and this being a home game, the whole environment, Autzen Stadium, it's a double edged sword. I kind of talked about this earlier this week, and it's it's a moment in time where you can allow the pressure
Mm,
get to you, whether the execution of a game plan, rising to the moment for these star players, and the focus is going to be on you. You know, Dante Moore is a Heisman favorite now. Is that pressure going to get to him? Is he going to be able to tap into 2 weeks ago with a bye week off, that moment and that energy that he had post game of Penn State, and be able to drive the influence into this game the way he did throughout the games previous, right?
mhm.
So I don't think necessarily this is a game of who's the better quarterback, because I do think that Indiana has a good quarterback, and that was
They
one of
do.
my reasons going into this season that I didn't really believe in who was leading the ship over there at Indiana. Um, Mendoza has proven to be a pretty good quarterback.
He's a good player. He's a
he,
really good player.
he he's a good player. He'll be in the NFL. Do I think he's a Heisman finalist? No, I don't think
Probably
he
not.
has the players to be able to do so. But that's where we have the edge. We do have depth at running back. We have depth in the receiving room. Indiana has a guy in the receiving room. They do have a running game
Mhm. Yeah,
that they
Indy's
can
good.
fall on, but we've proven that we can stop the run. So
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to the Indiana soon. I think we both feel pretty good about that game. Um, I don't have a take and bake this week, just off the bye. But I do want to stay on this Penn State topic, but localize a little bit. We saw guys last week like Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter have to wear Oregon gear last week after losing bets to former Oregon Ducks DeForest Buckner and Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm
mhm.
curious, did you ever have to wear any other team's gear because of a lost bet, or did you ever make any teammates wear Oregon gear because of a one bet in your career?
So I made a bet with Brandon LaFell.
Okay.
He was a receiver for LSU back in the day, and he was
Mhm.
also my teammate for the Carolina Panthers. He's a Super Bowl champ, as he played with the Patriots with Tom Brady. He and I made a bet on the Oregon LSU game.
Was that
When it
2011?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, um, this was like when social media was starting to get flowing too.
Uh-huh.
I was like, hey, if Oregon wins, you got to wear an Oregon jersey, and vice versa. And he's like, okay. I was like, yeah, you got to wear it, and then you got to post a picture of it. Okay. Oregon loses, and I'm wearing an
Yeah.
LSU jersey. You can find it somewhere
I
online.
was
I'm
gonna say, do
standing in
you have
front of
that picture anywhere?
somewhere online, but I'm standing in front of the locker, and yeah, I got an opportunity to wear an LSU jersey, and it was ugly, ugly, purple and gold.
I'm
Ugh.
looking for that photo right. Oh, Jonathan Stewart wears LSU jersey after losing bet with Brandon LaFell. I'm pulling it up. Will the picture load?
Mm,
LaFell tweeted the picture. Wow, this is gonna go way back. Twit pic. That is so long ago.
it was called Twit Pick.
Oh, there it is. All right, let me see if I can share my screen. I don't know how to do this. Well, I don't know how to do that, but we'll tweet it out later. God, you look
Yeah,
so young.
yeah. No,
I'm
no
sending
facial
this
hair,
to you.
probably.
No facial hair, no hair in general.
Yeah,
I'm sending this to you right now. All right, that's great. I'm glad I asked.
but
That's
yeah,
so
there's
funny.
a lot of bets were lost
Did you make
against
any
that
other
Oregon
bets?
Penn State game.
Did you have any other people wear Oregon gear for you that you remember?
That was really the only time, man. To be honest, I wasn't really into it because there was really nothing to show for. But again, social media presents that opportunity for guys to, you know, hey, you wear this jersey, you're gonna have to pay for it,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to put it on, put it on social media so all your alma mater and legends and
Yeah.
teammates can see that went on the limb there and
You
put on a
lost.
bet. You
That's fair.
lost.
All right, let's open this up a little bit. I want to look at the Big Ten as a whole. Just specifically, outside of Ohio State, are there any Big Ten teams that really give you like an ounce of concern right now as far as the season long run. I know we'll talk about Indiana in a little bit. They're a good team, but anyone else in the Big Ten that you think scares you if you're Oregon? I don't know if scare is the right word. Ohio State, I think we can talk about. They're a very good team. I've been impressed with them, but outside of them, I feel like it's kind of
Yeah,
lukewarm this year.
yeah. Let me look. Let me just look at this schedule right quick
Like going
because
into
the
the year,
answer,
like USC and Washington, maybe, but I'm just not that impressed with Washington. Definitely, they almost lost to Maryland.
like as a football fan, I don't have to be concerned about nobody.
Mm-mm.
Um, as a football player, they're going to be concerned about every single team they play. All right,
Of course, yeah.
but Indiana is the only team that I see that can be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, USC, it could have a little bit more emotional impact, right?
Mhm.
Because these are teams that we have history with because it is Pac-12, right?
Mhm.
People are going to forever hold that Pac-12 like wave, right? And
Mhm.
experience when it comes to these teams. So there's a history there. I think that you know Oregon fans and UW fans will continue to pump and hype up. So that can be a game. USC, man, they lost to they lost to
We'll see.
Illinois,
Yeah,
man,
lost to Illinois.
and Illinois got beat like they got beat by
They
Indiana,
got stomped by Indiana.
stomped by Indiana. And so either Illinois had a really bad day at the office or they stink. And so
I mean, looking
um,
at the Oregon schedule, like, yes, Indiana this week, huge game. Next week, Rutgers, no worries. I mean, other than the hardest thing about that game is that you're traveling to
mhm,
Piscataway across the
yeah,
nation. But like this team can travel well. We've seen them do that.
mhm,
Wisconsin, zero fear at all. Iowa, no longer any even semblance of a concern after we've seen Mark
yeah.
Gronowski. He's also dealing with a knee injury.
It's all about Iowa State, but Iowa State lost too, didn't they?
They did. They lost to Cincinnati. Yeah. Minnesota, no concern. USC, we'll see. I think that'll be a good game, but that's also a game that at home in November, like I've got no concern about Oregon looking past that game. Dan's going to want to
Yeah.
win that game. And then Washington at the end of the year, that I think is the biggest game left on the schedule outside of Indiana. But people will say what they will about Maryland. Apparently, Maryland is some like national championship contender now because they're in September and they're 4-0. It's like, I don't know. I don't think Maryland's that great of a team. And Washington was down, what, 20-0 to them and had to
Yeah.
stage this. Credit to them. They got a big comeback on the road. Um, I don't know. That's not that impressive of a win to me. And
And if
that's gonna be a
Maryland's
lot.
like that, Indiana has to play Maryland too.
Yeah.
Indiana still has to play Penn State.
Indiana, yeah.
so
Indiana's got to prove
so
themselves
so if
for
James
sure.
Franklin gets fired, they're gonna have a whole new energy and they might start winning a lot of games.
Do you think James Franklin is going to get fired?
If you don't win their next game, heck yeah.
Who do they play
Who they
next?
play next?
Let me see.
They play
Oh,
they
it's
play
Northwestern.
Northwestern.
If
But
they don't win,
reset.
yeah,
Hey,
if
well,
they don't
listen,
win that game,
reset. Oh, it's UCLA.
that's
Just
true.
saying.
Let me see the Penn State schedule real quick.
They got Iowa. They got Ohio. They gonna definitely lose to Ohio State.
Oh, they're losing to Ohio State. They might lose to Indiana. They might lose to Nebraska. I mean, if you
Oh,
can lose to UCLA, you can lose to anyone on this schedule.
Ohio
They got
State plays
Iowa.
Illinois, so we're gonna really see what if Illinois had a bad game against Indiana.
Yeah, I think this is the big prove it weekend for Illinois and Indiana. Playing, the class of the conference, they can show, if they're in that upper tier or if they're in that kind of mid tier behind them.
Listen, I ain't worried about us. Listen,
Nah,
if we want to be nosy, Ohio State,
we're
y'all
being
got a
nosy right
long
now.
road. They
We're
got a
being
long
nosy.
road.
This is
we Ohio State got Illinois. We're gonna see. They got Penn State. If James Franklin's still the coach, y'all might got a chance. UCLA, if they still riding on that high by
come on,
November 15th, you better
come on,
bring your pads.
come
But
on.
they end with Michigan.
They like to lose that game.
They like to lose against Michigan. So
This is classic bye week. We don't have a game to talk about, so we're just getting into other people's business.
yeah, we nosy out here, man.
It's fun. All right. Let's talk about Indiana. Let's focus on
Hmm.
Oregon. Top 10 matchup, college game day coming to town. Gonna be a great scene.
Oh
Real quick,
yeah.
who do you think the guest picker should be? Also, if they called you up, would you come? I assume that they would be flying anyone out. So I'm just curious if you would make that trip.
I would make that trip.
Okay.
I'll let you boy, man. But
Absolutely.
they only talk about, people that have played college ball during the social media era where everybody actually knows these guys.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know me as an Oregon football player, but
Sure.
nationally, right?
You're in the Oregon sphere. You're in the
Yeah,
media
I'm in the
sphere.
sphere. But as far as nationally,
Sure.
I'm trying to think about some people.
I mean, I
Maybe,
think they should call Kenyon. I think
yeah,
Kenyon is kind
I
of the
think
perfect option.
Kenyon's perfect. I mean, Big Ten Network guy. He's
Mhm.
going to
Did
give you
some
some good
CBS stuff.
takes. Yeah. Um, but maybe they should have some type of celebrity.
Like who?
Who is the TV show with the family,
Modern Family. Yeah, the
Modern
dad.
Family? Yeah,
Ty
maybe he
Burrell.
should. Yeah, Ty Burrell. Maybe
I
Ty
think
Burrell should be the
he's
guy.
number 1 on the list, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be a
maybe
good
that's
one.
who it'd
I
be.
don't know.
Hmm.
I'm interested to see who they choose because they last year they did Caitlin Olsen, who was an Oregon alum, but
Hmm.
I don't think fans loved that a ton because she's not like, you know, out there in Oregon football
Yeah,
conversations
she's
a
just
lot.
she's just a person that has an affiliation, right?
Well, yeah, and they had an ABC show for her premiering around that time, so
So
people
it's
wanted to talk.
calculated.
It was very calculated. That's why I put this out on Twitter yesterday and got a lot of fan engagement with it. I'm very scared that they're gonna put Glenn Powell out there, who has no Oregon ties other than the fact that he played for quote unquote Oregon in their new show,
It's a new
Chad
show.
Powers. And it's like, okay, I can
When
see
does
them
that come
wanting to
out?
like I think it's already out.
Mm,
Exactly, which is why I think they could put him on there to like
to
boost
remind
it
people
up
to
and
watch it.
promote it because
Mm,
I don't know that many people are watching it. So I'm very scared of that being the outcome here.
mm. They should fly
But
Hello Tinata out.
hmm, that'd be a good one. I like that. God, fans would love that.
Hmm.
That'd be a fun one. All right, let's talk about this game. Betting activity. I mean, all of these odds come from our presenting sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook. Betting activity has been interesting on this game. It opened up at Oregon minus 10.5 over a week ago. The line has since been bet down to Oregon minus 7.5. So there are clearly some people who are not sold on Oregon after seeing that Penn State loss. Any thoughts on that? Does that really mean anything to you?
No,
Okay.
we still got to go in there and whoop their tail.
Mhm.
But as far as the betting, I understand it. Okay,
Mhm.
that's all.
Yeah.
Um, if you watch Oregon and you know who's on this team, if we want to play our way, we're gonna score. We're gonna
Absolutely.
score at will. All
And
right.
just
Okay.
stop you from scoring.
And the reason why we'll score at even more will is because Dante Moore felt and understood that I am the best quarterback in the nation.
Mhm.
I mean, he felt that, and the coaching staff felt that. We felt that. We saw it. He willed an Oregon victory in Happy Valley. And so when you see your players or your star players come into their own like that, as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, as a position coach, as a teammate, you gain confidence in your abilities, right? And so as a coach, you have the ability to say, okay, let me go get this other book here with these other plays. Let's open this up.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're gonna and if you look at the rest of the schedule, this is a team that you should open the book for, right? This is a team that you're like, okay, this might be the time that we have to put things on film that no one's seen before, so that way we make sure there's no question.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see the playbook open up a lot more.
But you got to remember that Penn State's bad. So him doing that on the road is, not impressive at all.
It doesn't matter. We just ran the ball. We didn't open up the playbook. We just ran
That's
the
true.
ball.
That's true. They looked really good doing that. And I kind of
So
say that with all of the
Or
sarcasm in my heart.
maybe Oregon in their mind throughout the week said they're not a good team. Why is everybody pumping this up?
Oh, true.
And then they just go in there and run the ball and leave, right?
Yeah, could be it.
Just like how they played, they played the whole, everyone thinks Makai who's the starter. Oh, Demir Hill Jr. is a dog.
Did you see
I know
the
it.
Makai news last week? We didn't ever talk about that. That he's
Yeah,
redshirting.
he might,
Has to
yeah.
redshirt.
So he is redshirting,
Yeah,
but
he
is
has
he
to
going to try to go?
redshirt.
Is he going to try to go somewhere else?
I would assume so. Nothing has been, stated
Yeah,
officially or publicly, but I can't imagine he would redshirt this year and then try and
yeah.
give it another go next year when Dier and Jordan are a year
Jordan.
older. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems like he is going to transfer,
yeah,
which, no one can blame him for doing that. I think that'd be
yeah. I get it.
probably smart on his watch. But all right, as far as betting picks for this game, Oregon -7.5, Oregon -245 on the money line, over under at 55.5. Do any of those stand out to you as something you would like to bet?
Over 7.5.
Okay, Oregon -7.5. You said earlier that you kind of changed your tune on Indiana because before the year started, had them in the bottom tier of the Big Ten. What's changed for you?
I mean, it really comes down to the quarterback, Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
He was a transfer, so he wasn't on the team. He wasn't really registered in my mind as a guy for Cal because he played for
Mm-hmm.
Cal,
He
and
wasn't good with Cal either.
yeah, so he transferred for a reason to Indiana, and I didn't know anything about him specifically. And so throughout this year, they've been able to run the ball and they've been able to quarterback that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And to win games, you need both on offense.
Yeah.
As you see, Oregon, we've been able to do both. And so as far as the opponents we played against, this is the only team that is comparable to what we can achieve. We're going to be able to see who does it the best. And if they are who we think they are,
Mm-hmm.
that's something to respect about them. And so my preseason take was that Indiana's going to be trash simply because they didn't have a quarterback, but they got a quarterback. So
Opinions
uh,
change.
things change. People change. People mess. Look, people make mistakes. I made a mistake.
That's okay. I'm glad you're at least owning it. I
Illinois is trash, though.
Part of me wanted you to come in and just kind of double down and say, "Oh, Indiana is awful. Still one of the worst
Illinois
teams in
is
the Big Ten."
terrible. This is all
Okay.
fake. This is fake. Everyone it's not real.
So, who is the pressure on in this game? Is this a bigger game for Oregon to prove that they are one of the best teams in the nation, or is it a bigger game for Indiana to prove that they can hang with the top
This is
teams
more.
in the
This is
Big
more
Ten?
pressure. This is more pressure for. That's a good. That's a good question.
Right? Because I don't think
Pressure on
Indiana has to win this game to
They don't have to win this game
to
because they have
win
other
the
games to
day.
play. I think this actually does have more implications for Oregon in
I
my
think so
mind,
too.
right? And I say that because Oregon is playing a team that has way more to prove, in my opinion. So
Mhm.
they have more to play for. They haven't been good. They haven't been a good football team. People don't believe that they are. Oregon has been in that seat for a longer time. People don't believe
Mhm.
in Oregon. They haven't believed in Oregon for the last 20 years, right? And we've been
Yeah.
proving things here and there. Indiana has not been doing none of it, right? And so just as of last year, they've just come to the seat. So to them, they are actually more dangerous,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because they're going to come in here and everyone's going to be like, okay, they give us a chance here and there, but no one really thinks that we're going to come in there and beat Oregon. So we can actually go and lay it all on the line. And if we lose, so be it. We got another chance to go
Yeah.
at this thing with other teams. Oregon, on the other hand, they don't have other chances to really state their dominance against
Yeah.
a top ranked team
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the season. So um, there is more pressure on Oregon, but I will say this: they are more prepared to deal with pressure,
Mhm.
and meaning they will apply pressure.
Yeah.
Meaning Dan Lanning will go for it on fourth down 10 times if he needs to.
Absolutely. I think that pressure kind of flipped over the weekend, though. I thought, if Penn State took care of business and beat one of the worst teams in the nation over the weekend, as expected, I think we'd be sitting here saying all of the pressure is on Indiana because Oregon has beat one of the best teams in the nation on the road in the hardest, environment you could ask for. I think that we would say that Indiana, the pressure's on them to come in and prove that you are one of the top teams in the Big Ten, as you have, tried to state over the past 2 years, year and a half. But now, with there being some questions nationally, I'm not saying we have them, but questions about that Penn State win. I think it's on Oregon to prove once again, when I don't think they really need to, but nationally again, prove that they are that team, one of the top
Mm-hmm.
teams in the nation. So I think you can make the argument for both. I mean, both teams have pressure. It's a top 10 game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a final score prediction for this one?
35 24.
35-24.
Yeah.
That's the exact score prediction I have too.
Wow, look at that.
I
We're in
really have
sync.
Oregon 35, Indiana 24 written down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that covers the spread. I think it's
Yep.
I I don't know, man. I
I
don't
think
think
we
it's
start
gonna
off
be that
fast.
close of a
I
game.
think I think we start off fast and score fast, and we play soft coverage, and they make some throws here and there and get back in the game.
I think this game's gonna be like 21-7 at halftime. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna be, and I think they maybe make it 21-14, 35-14. Like it's I don't think it's gonna be that close, and then Indiana maybe gets a late score. But I don't know. I think that Oregon's a better team. I have a lot of respect for Kurt Signetti. I think he's a great coach. They've got good players. I don't think they are
We
as
got better
deep as
players.
I don't. Yeah, they're not as deep. They're not as talented. They're not as big as Oregon, and they're playing in Autzen with the students back with game day. Like it's going to be raining. Like this is a game that is set up for Oregon to win comfortably. In my mind,
Yeah.
I don't have too much concern. We could look very dumb come Saturday night if that all. If Oregon isn't as good as we think they are, and Indiana is better than we think they are, but I don't know, man. This isn't as concerning to me as Penn State was.
Not at all.
All right, once again, before we close out the show, we are going to go to our Oregon trivia segment, Quack Facts, where I try to stump Jay Stu. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm proud of this one. I did some research for this. Oregon is playing Indiana for just the fourth time this weekend, taking away the former Pac 12 schools. So we're talking about just traditional Big Ten schools. Which Big Ten team does Oregon have the most wins against in program history? So take away UCLA, USC, and Washington. Who has Oregon beat the most in the Big Ten?
Michigan?
Ooh, close. Is that your final
Okay.
answer?
Michigan State?
Michigan State.
Yeah.
You know how many times they beat them?
6.
5.
I almost said 5.
You're getting better. You're getting closer.
I'm using a lot more common sense.
Yeah. Okay. You're thinking about it now.
Thinking
All right.
about it a little
Bonus
bit more.
question. Bonus
Mhm.
question. Which Big Ten team does Oregon have the most losses against?
Ohio State?
Who's second on that list?
Wisconsin?
Oh, nope. Nebraska.
The other red team.
They actually have, I think, some of the most wins against Wisconsin because they beat them so many times in the Rose Bowl. I think they have 4 wins
Okay.
against Wisconsin.
Oh, well,
All
it's
right, let's wrap
close.
it up there. Yeah,
All right,
you're
man.
close. Let's wrap it up there. Again, a huge weekend. Another chance for Oregon to prove themselves. 12:30 game, so I will be sure to pop on Saturday night to give some instant reactions, and then we will be back on early next week with the full recap. You have anything to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Dante Moore carry on his Heisman campaign. So
Totally.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Feels like people forgot just while Oregon was on the bye week,
Yeah,
which is classic. They drop in
never
the
forget.
polls. He drops in the Heisman race just by sitting back and doing nothing.
Yeah, not his
Whatever,
fault.
man. We'll see what he can do on Saturday. I'm excited, like you said. All right, you can check out more of my work at duckswire.usatoday.com. Follow me, Zachary C. Neel, on Twitter, and check out the Ducks Rising podcast. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter at Jonathan StuR1. And make sure to check out the Ducks of a Feather podcast with him and Kenyon Barner. For myself, Zach Neel, for my co host, Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.